Alrighty, nerds, I have a few more comics for you. Now, this one's going to be mostly X-Men and some comics I've showed you before. So, no apologies though, because these are awesome. Even though I showed you before, you'll thank me for it. All right, let's take a look. Okay, I mentioned some comics I had previously shown. We'll start with those. This is Daredevil number 16. This is Daredevil number 8. Daredevil is a great series. I mean, obviously Daredevil continues to be super popular, but he's always been a tier below. So for example, Spider-Man comics, Fantastic Four comics, tons of keys. Their prices are exorbitantly high, but Daredevil just kind of stays at a simmer, kind of below some of these other characters, which is bizarre because it's a Stan Lee written title. Wally Wood was the artist, so great art. At this point, Daredevil was already in the red costume. This is the first, number 7 is the first red costume. He started out with yellow. We can see here number 4, the first Purple Man. This was his original costume. But again, the values of these comics are a little below than what you'd have at like Fantastic Four or Spider-Man, or that sort of thing. And you always wonder why. What's great about Daredevil and what's great about the run of Daredevil through 500 comics, there's never really been a bad period of Daredevil. These were great, fun comics. I mean, these were old school Silver Age Stan Lee, just good fun. And even the era of Daredevil that a lot of people kind of poo-poo, which is the Daredevil and Black Widow, that was, I think, maybe my favorite stretch of Daredevil, through like, 80 to 120 or whatever. That was really good. And then you had Frank Miller come aboard. And then even after Frank Miller, some other things like Ann Nocenti, I'm not really a fan, but she brought Typhoid Mary, and that was a great part of the run. And then later on, you had Volume 2, which was Bendis, and that was good. And then, after that, you had the Mark Waid run, which was kind of a rolled back a little bit of the Frank Miller grimdark, and it's what I hope that they use for the Disney Plus version of Daredevil. That's fantastic. And then Daredevil's popular today, so there's never really been a bad stretch of Daredevil throughout hundreds upon hundreds of comics, and so it's really good. And sorry, I'm talking too much, but I just really like Daredevil. And here is number 3. I always love that. It's got a great little stamp there. This is the Owl. Before the Kingpin, the Owl was the main mobster boss, and I think people just assumed that the Kingpin was always in Daredevil comics. Not true. Didn't come in until 100 plus issues in. Number 2, I think that's the second appearance of Electro. Not positive. It was an early appearance of Electro. Obviously, the second appearance of Daredevil. And here is Daredevil number 1. And so I'm sending these off to CGC to get graded. Hey, inflation, folks, gotta maximize my comic value here. And so since I had them out to send, I figured I would show them. It's always fun to see something like a Daredevil number 1 from 1964, Stan Lee, with art by Wally Wood. But now let's switch to something completely different here. And here we go, X-Men number 141. And there was a guy that was wanting to get rid of some of his X-Men comics, and I would never, ever pass up a chance to do the Days of Future Past cover. Obviously, my heart is in Claremont X-Men. Those are my favorite comics. This storyline was something I loved, mainly because Kitty Pryde, and when I was a boy, I had a crush on Kitty Pryde. But this cover is iconic. It has been homaged really too many times. At some point, it's like, all right, we're doing this cover again. But it's brilliant. Relatively early into Claremont's run, which started at 94, so a few years in. But a great cover. This is the first appearance of Dazzler, X-Men 130. So I love Dazzler. I mean, this is a crazy, wild disco cover that you would expect from Dazzler. Here is X-Men 105. Here is X-Men 101, which I might say is my favorite comic book of all time. And so if you have an X-Men 101 and you want to give it to me, I would love you forever. I can't get enough of that. I really do love that comic. Beautiful cover, but then also, you know, the first appearance of Phoenix. So one more X-Men show you. This is God Loves, Man Kills. There's a little autograph there. This, of course, is the famous graphic novel. And it's just a brilliant, brilliant comic. Going to finish with something entirely different. This is Conan, Savage Sword of Conan, the old magazine style, number 36, number 90, and these were just tossed into a collection I bought. And then this is 144, a popular cover for obvious reasons, but we don't want to end with that. We definitely want to end with something like this. All right, nerds, there you have it. A few more comics for you. I'll try to do this every Saturday. It's getting harder to get comics now. Folks haven't realized that the prices are dropping a lot, and they still want, if they're selling, they still want really high prices for them. So it's getting harder to get collections. And so I'm getting fewer now, and but I do want to show you when I do pick up some new stuff. And even in this one, you know, sorry, I've shown you these before, but it's, you know, the first few issues of Daredevil, so it's just wonderful stuff. So at any rate, if you want to follow along, you can subscribe and jump through all those hoops that Google have you. But in the meantime, thanks. Appreciate it. All right, you take care.